There's the rich and famous, the poor and lonely. I even chill with the everyday working person. I do. I don't walk, talk, or love. So many people love me. Most of my clients, I meet through family and friends recommendation. My first introduction is just for fun. Then I become good for pastime recreation. All right, welcome y'all to Keeping It Real and Peep Game TV. Team collaboration. I'm your man Shadi, aka SRD, with my man Jay Sean, aka Mr. F Love.
You know
On
it.
this December 4th, Thursday night. We know you could have been anywhere. We're thankful that you took the time to be with us. So, I got a surprise for you, brother.
Oh, what happened? Oh, you got the cover. Oh, you got the book. Oh, jeez. Oh,
Yeah, brother.
wow.
All right.
That's what's up. What's on the back? That's the front of the back. Oh, okay. You got everything. You get legit. It's legit. You got the bio and everything. It's looking
Yeah,
good.
people.
It's looking good.
Yeah,
Then it
people.
look
So
thick. It
it's
look
just
thick. It look
in a
thick.
few weeks, we'll be posting where you could pre-order it at. So we'll be letting you know. So we actually had the book. Those of you who, you know, want the book immediately, you can reach out to me behind the scenes and I'll mail it to you. You know what I mean? Sign it
That
and mail it to you.
Hey, that's an accomplishment, man. That's a. I remember when I got my first book, man. It's like you get that first book, you get it in your hand, you like, man, like I did it. You know what I mean? Like I did it. It's like it's well, now it's a feeling
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that you won't never get, man. You get that first book, and when you get that first shipment, and when that first shipment of books come in, and you looking at all them books, man, and like, man, like, yo, wow, yeah. It's definitely what's up. Definitely.
Yeah. I actually got my first shipment of books. So
Oh, you got them already, so you
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah, I
talking about.
got my first shipment.
Okay, how you gonna sell them? You gonna just sell them by mailing them out? Um,
Well, I mean, eventually I want to, go do some book signings and everything and
right.
sell them that way. But right now, I'm a mail. I'm looking to mail some of them out for
Hmm.
individuals, and hopefully, whoever read it, whatever you like, I would like for them to, post. Yeah, I read the book, from hustler to businessman, and I liked this passage. Go get you a copy of this book. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm hoping that people would
Now,
do.
and I'm gonna tell everybody who listening now. The key is to, yeah, it's different now. So when I did it, it was 2008. So I had a typewriter. I going to get the Manila envelopes. I went and got a stamper made with my company name on it. So I would go to Walgreens and get the Manila envelopes. I would put the book in there with an order form. I had an order form made up. Put it in there with the order form. Stamp the order form. Paid. Stamp the outside of the envelope in the corner with my company name, J&M, boom. And I would type on a label for the computer. I mean, from the typewriter, I would type to the person who it was going to, the inmate number. And then I would, because when you do it to jail, it got to come from a company.
Right, right,
So
okay.
I was sending them to the people in the jails, but now I heard it's different that they got to get them from like Barnes and Noble or somewhere. Like I don't really know. Maybe different jails is different, but anyway, why I'm saying that is now a key thing is that if you could get them in the jails, that was my key. I
Right.
sent like maybe I was asking everybody, you got family member in jail, what's their number? I was just shipping book to all prisons all over the world. Prisons, federal prisons, prisons, Florida, North Carolina, St. Louis, wherever somebody knew people. And that's how it blew up in the jails. Because,
Oh,
they're
okay.
in jail, they read it.
Right, right, right. They got time. They got time to sit down and read it.
So if you could get it in there, that's just a tip
Oh
for
yeah, yeah,
everybody.
yeah. That actually, that's one of the distributors I'm looking to be, place the book with, Barnes and Nobles, as well
Mm-mm.
as Amazon.
If you can get it on Bar, if you can get it on Barnes and Noble, you good too. Cause I think that's the only one the prisons dealing with now. Barnes and Noble and some of the other chains and stuff
Right.
like that. I don't really know what you got to do to get it in there though. I don't. I
Yeah,
don't.
I would imagine, you would have to, the people would have to order it. You know what I mean? They see it, they order it, and then they send it to them.
Yeah,
You know?
it's always a way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah.
Shoot. But
All
anyway,
right,
that's a
brother.
good thing.
You know, let's get to it, man. I just wanted to, spring that on you, man, and let the people know that, the progress is being made. The book is on its way. The book is I physically have it now. So it's just a matter of time before they can actually physically have it for themselves.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good. I
Yeah,
can't wait to. I can't wait to read it.
yeah, yeah. It's been a long time coming, man.
Yep. Yep.
Put about a year in there.
Mm,
Almost a year.
that's what's up.
So last time I think who went first? You
Oh
or me?
man. I think you did. I did.
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah. I think it was me.
It
So
was you,
so
right?
you get to go. You get to go first. So you know um, there's I meet you know people who mostly women. Even my sister feels that way, that it's better to kind of be with somebody, who share their religion, so to speak. You know what I mean? Share the same religion, the same belief. So my question to you is, you know, can a couple with two different religions beliefs build a peaceful home?
That's a serious question because I grew up like that.
Right,
My mother was a Jehovah Witness and my father was a Baptist.
right,
So once in a blue moon he went with her, but she never went with him because when you're a Jehovah Witness, I can invite you to come to they call it the Kingdom Hall. I can invite you to come to the Kingdom Hall, but we ain't if you invite us, we can't go to there, which I never really agreed with.
right,
That
right,
I can invite you to come to mine, but I can't invite you. I can invite you, but it's against the rules. We can't go to yours, and I never really understood that. Right there, something is wrong with that. That I can invite you from your religion, but you can't go to mine. But you telling me just come listen to mine. But anyway, I never really I never really heard too much of um arguments from them being two different religions. Uh I only I only knew that being two different religions, it wasn't good for the children.
okay,
For the adults, you a adult. Okay, I'm
right,
a Baptist, I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I believe what I believe, you believe what you believe. You know what I mean? when we lay down at night and we kiss or we make love, that ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
But for the children, that's where it become a problem. Who wants you to go here and who wants you to go there, or or how many times you're gonna go there, or what you believe here. So can it be? It can be peaceful. Um, it could be peaceful for the adults, and it could be peaceful for the children, but it's gonna be peaceful with confusion.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because the children is gonna be confused and torn between, two different things. Cause I'll tell you a real funny story real quick. Uh I was always most of the time going with my mother to the
Right.
Kingdom Hall. So every now and then me and my sister would go with my father to the Church of Love, Reverend Lagarde Church on Auburn.
Okay.
So I maybe was like maybe 7 or 8 years old, and we went with my father to his, and my father was an usher, so he would just sit me and my sister down, and then he would go doing what he had to. He was a treasurer or something, counting the money or something, and so he would just leave me and my sister there.
Right.
So they was passing the wine around and the crackers, and I drunk the wine. You know what I mean? But because I seen other people doing it.
Yeah, that was communion. Communion.
Yeah, but no, but when you're a Jehovah Witness, you can't do that.
Oh,
No,
okay.
when you're a Jehovah Witness, when they have something called the Lord's Evening Meal, it's like being a communion. The only people who drink the wine is the people that's going to heaven. So you can't do it. The only people that could drink, and when you're a Jehovah Witness, they say that only, well, when I was there, it's only 144,000 people going to heaven when they die.
Right. Uh,
So it was a big thing when I was young to watch them pass the wine around and see, who did God talk to. So I was young. I've been there a lot of years. I might have seen two or three people do it in my time as a Jehovah Witness. You know what I mean? Because you're like, oh God, he chosen one. Now whether he really was chosen, I don't know. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Right.
But anyway, to make a long story short, I drunk the wine and at my father because I seen everybody else doing it, and then I got scared, and I started crying because I thought by drinking the wine I was gonna die.
Oh, wow.
So my sister was messing with me. She was like, "Why you drunk the wine?" I was like, "I don't know. I seen everybody else drinking the wine." She like, you're not supposed to drink the wine. And I start telling her, "Am I gonna die? Am I gonna die?" She said, "I don't know. You shouldn't have drunk the wine." So so
yeah.
that was that was my memory of that. But anyway, uh, can they live peaceful? I think you could live peaceful. Will it be confusion among the siblings and maybe among the adults too, depending on their character? I think it might be a little bit, but all in all, I think personally you can live peaceful like that. What about you?
Um, I just wanted to touch on what you said about, being a Jehovah Witness where they feel comfortable uh, allowing you and asking you to come to the Kingdom Hall, but
Hmm.
they don't feel comfortable going in any other church. So,
They
I
won't. They
mean,
won't
to
go.
me, it's kind of, for
Hypocritical.
a lack of a better word, it's kind of arrogant. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Hmm.
arrogant to say, like, look, we got the truth.
Yep.
So you come to us, we're not coming to you because what you teaching is false. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So I kind of that's something that I dislike about any place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even in Islam, there's some brothers that believe you can't go to the church. See, my thing is we believe in one God. You know what I'm saying? We all believe that there's a higher power that created everybody. And the other thing that all religions, even the Kingdom Hall, Jewish, Judaism, Islam, and all Christianity that I've heard of, they all have one person in common, and that's Abraham. So if you all believe that Abraham was like the father of your religion, how do you get confused when it comes to who somebody worshiping? You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that's the difference, and my sister's a part of it, and I hear her call people Christendom. You know what I mean?
Kristen, what?
Christendom. Like you Christian, but you dumb, like Christendom.
I never
I
heard
hear
that
them,
one.
I've heard her say that, Christendom, you know what I mean? And it's like, for me, it's like, okay, but the whole, I kind of get into it with the book, where my belief is, why don't Christians celebrate the life of Jesus rather than focusing on the death of Jesus? Like the
Mm.
whole most of them talk about, oh, the death of Jesus is what saved us. He died for our sins. He died so we could connect with God. And that, to me, I look at it as like, if you live the life that Jesus lived, then you can connect to God. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? That's how I see it. But as
Mm.
far as you know, religions coming together, I kind of agree with you that when it comes to religion, it can get confusing for the children. Because you're telling them, especially in that case where you say, okay, mom and pop go to two different churches, but they don't ever, pop could go to mom church, but
Mm-hmm.
mom can't go to pop church. So the
Mm-hmm.
children be like, why? You know, like, don't God, they worship God in both churches. So I think that can be confusing. The other thing that I see with that is, I think a lot of women put their life on hold. And I've heard you say this, when women say, I'm waiting on God to bring me a man, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? God gonna pick the man. In the religions, it says you have some sort of free will. So if you have limited free will, then that's one of the things you get to choose. You can pray, you know what I'm saying? You can pray that God builds you up to be the type of person, so that you can find a type of person that's equal to you. But I hear a lot of women, I've heard women say, "Oh, I'm not messing with a guy unless he's a Christian." And at the end of the day, they've messed with guys that so-called said they was Christians and ran them through the ringer. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Ran them through the ringer. So I'm like, look, why don't you find a man that's compatible with you rather than a man just because he's Christian? Oh, he believe in God, he's Christian. He's going to, no, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to do the right thing, because he can be perpetrating, because you already told him you're looking for a Christian man. So he can tell you
Right.
anything, go to church, accept Jesus and all that. So
Yep.
I think women put themselves at a disadvantage when they hold on to that. And then it brings me to that saying where the guy was on the roof and the water was rising,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, they sent the plane, sent the boat, and then he ended up drowning. And then he said, well, God, why didn't you help me? He said, I sent the plane, I sent the boat, I
Yeah.
sent people to rescue you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I
So
heard that.
sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah, so I say that to say, sometimes God may send somebody for you, but because you looking for the Christian, you may miss out on the person that he sent for you.
Yep.
You
And
know,
yeah.
yeah, that's my take on it.
um. This question right here is a old it's a old myth or saying or belief or but it's factual. Um, it's definitely factual in certain realms of the world.
Okay.
But we just getting everybody point of view on it. So um why do you think a lot of black people have problems working together? Keep it real. Why do you think black people have a problem working together?
Um, Perfect example. We just got off of it. When it comes to, a lot of people, religious beliefs. We have so many different religious beliefs, where we've been taught like, if you're not a believer, I can't work with you. You're a heathen. You're in the world. You know. The other thing is we don't seem to agree on one one basic nationality. Like there's some people that say they black. There's some people that won't even acknowledge themselves as being black. They acknowledge
Hmm.
themselves as African American. Some
Hmm.
people acknowledge themselves as being people of color. Others may acknowledge themselves as being Dominican, Haitian, Jamaican, So with certain titles, it separates us. The other part is there's too many of us that get caught up with when it comes to having differences. Like you can do something that may anger me. And because you did something that angered me, I many of us rather hold on to what angered us rather than to say, okay, he angered me. He got this certain type of behavior. But putting that behavior aside, me and this brother could do some good business together. Or me
Yeah.
and this sister could do some good business together if we put that emotional part aside. And I think many times we get caught up in that emotional part where we like, man, I don't mess with that. I don't mess with that. You know what I mean? We use that word. I don't mess with that nigga like that. You know what I'm saying? And what you're doing is potentially alleviating someone that you two could possibly make something grow, make something
Hmm.
happen. Because the reality is no millionaire became a millionaire on his own.
Nope.
Every millionaire had people helping them, you
Yep.
know. And when you look at all the people that we look at as millionaires, they all have a team of people with them.
Yep.
That so that individualism kind of is what keeps us from being able to work together, and it's something that I believe, some of us overcome. There's many people who are able to overcome that, who are able to put that aside. Look, that's small. This money that we trying to get, this goal that we trying to accomplish is bigger than how I feel about you. Other people
Mhm.
do it all the time, and then there's some of our people that do it as well. So I think the number one course of our growth is to be able to put our emotions aside for the sake of doing business, and let's get to getting that money. What you think?
Um, somewhere along the line, um, we forgot that together we stand, and divided we fall. Somewhere along the line, uh, we as people, we stop figuring out that if we help each other, and we stand together and we fight together and we stand together, that we could uh, make more accomplishments. Um, it's somewhere I don't know where it started, but I know it's like a snowball effect or something like that. Somewhere it had to start where could have been Cain and Abel, where the jealousy came, where we don't want to see one another do better. And that's not everybody, but it's the majority. But it's not everybody. You know what I mean? I look at all of us friends from 17th Ave, prime example. I honestly could say that I believe in my heart that we all proud of each other accomplishments. Nobody is jealous because nobody got a house or somebody got a nice car or somebody got a pretty wife or somebody got a lot of money or somebody, you know what I mean? Like we we all grew up together and we all happy about we all happy for each other. I guess that started when we was young. We went a little bit off because I mean, like it was times, when we like, when we tried to do, you wanted us to do different things that we didn't do, but all in all, we stood together. All in all, you know what I mean. So for the majority of people not to do that, somewhere along the line, maybe how they was raised, or maybe what they saw, or maybe what they feel, because it got to be a reason why black people can't why they can't build and work together. But who could get to the core of it? We all could just assume and and give our opinions on it. I just think it wasn't never taught. I don't think it wasn't never I just think it wasn't never taught to, you know, black people as kids. Because like I said, we all started sticking together like in teenagers. Younger than that. You know what I mean? We started
Right.
learning that we gotta stick together and we gotta help each other. You know what I mean? And do things for each other. Uh so I guess it's I would say it's because they can't work together because they never did it in the past, or maybe they never saw it. So that's what I would think. You know what I mean? That's my point on it.
Now, I think that's a good observation because you know most things that we do is learned behavior. You know,
Yeah.
most of what we do, like I have stories in the book where I've seen things and I emulated it. And and whether it's good or bad, you see stuff, you emulate it. So
Mhm.
if when we grew up, remember, when we grew up, we saw people who looked like us have businesses. We saw people work
Mhm.
together. We we grew up in a time where a person didn't mind saying, "Yo, man, you looking fly in what you wearing, man. That look fly." You know what I mean? Very few people were turning up their nose, looking at you sideways, because we just had that type of generation where You looking fly, man.
That's
You
what
doing your
that
thing. You know what I mean? We
that's what I
we
was saying.
congratulated
Yeah.
each other. We encouraged each other, and it to my opinion, what took us off of that is two things, and I speak about them both in the book. One is once the numbers was taken and turned to pickets, that took away that camaraderie. Remember, when the
Mm-hmm.
numbers was running, we had our own bank in our neighborhood. The number runners was like the bank. You could go get loans. You hit it big enough. You could buy you a home. You know what I'm
that's how
saying?
that's how my father bought our house
So
on 31st Street. He hit a number.
right. So 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 once that got removed, now we had to go elsewhere to seek revenue. So it kind of tainted our view on each other because before we could go to people that look like us, spend our money and get money. After a while, we weren't able to do that. The other thing is once the crack era came, I speak about that in the book, how close we were prior to the crack. We were close, but then the crack start separating us, and we start rolling in little pockets. You know what I mean? Two or three of us will roll together. The whole squad like just separated into little pockets. Go
Hey
ahead.
yo, I don't mean to cut you off. I don't mean to cut you off, but do you remember? Because we from that the 70s and stuff. Do you remember when welfare, they used to come to people's house and the men used to hide. Men couldn't be in there. Men couldn't live there.
Yeah. Well, yes, and so so
They took
basically
men out the house.
basically there was multiple things that got us to the point
Yeah,
where we at. That's all that said.
it's a movie. It's a movie. I think it's called Claudette. I can't think. I don't know if you've seen it.
I
And the
remember
guy was in the house,
with Diane
and the
Carroll and
welfare people.
yeah,
Yeah,
James Earl
James Earl Ray,
Jones,
I think.
James Earl
And the
Jones,
welfare
Diane
people,
Carroll.
the lady came in and they had to hide the iron and the TVs and everything, and he
Yeah,
hid in the closet because you couldn't have a man in the house back then. Like, yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
remember that. A lot of
yeah.
people probably
That
don't
was a
even
good one.
remember that.
But so now we do have examples of why we are where we at now. There's multiple reasons. It
Mm,
just didn't happen overnight. You know what I mean?
right.
It happened gradually with different scenarios that were taken away, or because you had to take away your father. You took away the
Yeah.
income that we had in our communities. You know, now
Mm-hmm.
the crack brought money, but it took away unity. You weren't really
Yep.
unified. Jokers was like, especially cats that very rarely made any money. When they start making that type of money, man, they start feeling like they was on top of the world. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
yeah, man. Let's roll right along. Let's get to the next one.
All right. All right.
Now you got different type of people when it comes to couples. You got some people who are real open with everything that they do. You got other people who are kind of private. They kind of private with how they maneuver. So my question to you is, how much privacy should a couple keep from each other before it becomes secrecy?
Um, that's good because I'm gonna take it from a point of view of a couple that's on the verge of becoming husband and wife, or they engaged. They at the higher level of the relationship. Um, I believe that everybody is entitled to a certain amount of privacy. I do believe that. Um, I believe that your mate doesn't have to know everything about your past, or they don't have to know everything. If you gotta say like if say like if you engaged and at your job you got a secretary or a girl that's sweating you, or just say if you got a girl at your job and y'all horse around, a little bit of horseplay,
Right.
like that's just your little thing, you know what I mean? Like, and it could go both ways. Your wife could have a man that flirt with her a little bit, clean fun.
They call that
Um,
a job spouse, like a job
a
wife,
work
job
husband,
husband,
a work
something like
husband.
that. They call that.
Yeah. But now I think if you and that person was going out to lunch together, y'all exchange numbers, y'all rode in the same cars together, y'all work together, or work together all day. Yeah, work together all day. Now, I think if you kept stuff like that private, then it become like secrecy. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's really secrecy if it's you. I don't think you got to tell your wife every time a woman flirt with you. I don't think you got to tell your wife every time you see your ex. I don't think you gotta tell your wife if you see somebody and y'all had small conversation, or vice versa. I don't think so. The only time I think it becomes secrecy is when it's and it's not always with evil intent. Um I think it becomes secretive is when maybe you got their phone number and they got your phone number, and y'all might text each other. Y'all might ride in the same car to lunch every day. You know what I mean? That's a little bit much. Um, y'all working in the same cubicle all day, next to each other. That's a little much too. Um, but besides that, I'm not a person that believes like your wife should have the password to your phone, or you should have the password to her phone, or she should have the password to your social media, and she should. I'm not a believer in that. Um, I don't think no way possible that somebody should have your password, because it's too much. It's too much bad can come from that, because it could be something that's totally innocent, and if your spouse or your mate see it, it could just blow out of proportion when it was totally innocent. So I don't believe in that exchanging passcodes and passwords and all that. But I believe, like I said, I just put it like this: friendly conversation. That's just private. Um, small talk. That's private. You run into your ex here. You run into your ex on social media. That's private. But when it's texting, and when it's too much in close proximities together, or it's too much talking, then and your mate don't know, I believe that's secrecy. What about you?
Well, like some of the stuff that you explained, like okay, if you speaking to a person, it's strictly about work. Every now and then, you tell a little joke, y'all laugh, and you keep it at
Hmm.
that. True. You know what I mean? I think that's just harmless. Harmless. As you
Right.
said, you know, it becomes a thing like when you start getting emotionally attached. Prior, before I didn't really look at it in that manner. As I evolved in my thinking and in my consciousness, I started to look at it differently. That, when you can emotionally connect with someone, it it becomes a form of yeah, secrecy. Now you keep something on the low. You know what I mean? Because you developing something, and that's where
Mm.
most um, infidelity come from. Once you start getting too close, sharing too much, and getting too comfortable, and before you know it, you done got super comfortable, and all it takes is something to go a little haywire at the house, and you all in. So
Yep.
I think, yeah, you don't need to give a person your passcodes, this, that, and the other, And I've basically shown my wife, she's asked me to look at, some of my stuff, my DMs and stuff like that. I've shown her, you know what I'm saying? Because where I'm at now in my life, I ain't got nothing to hide. I ain't got to, you know what I mean? If I'm gonna do something, then I got enough respect for myself in the marriage to walk away. You know what I
Right.
mean? Look, I can't do this no more. I want to be on my own. That's it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and you know, I've seen too many times, and my mom brought this to my attention. She was like, when you start messing with somebody else, you bringing an innocent person into your relationship. You know what I mean? And most times you have no intentions on leaving the person that you're with. So now you done drag
Yep.
this person into something, and now you done hurt this person, because you just dragged them into something that was temporary. And not only did you hurt the person that you dragged into it, you hurt the main person that's in the relationship. So you done hurt two people just for something that
Mm-hmm.
you basically had the potential to do without. So over the years, my perspective has grown. Like, when I was younger, I couldn't see myself, even trying to just being faithful. I didn't. It was no reason for me to even think about that. I couldn't see it. You know what I'm saying? I always said, "Yeah, I'm gonna have me more than one woman. I'm gonna do that." You know what I mean? But I came to a point where, you know, out of my growth and my level of love, and my consciousness, I was like, look, let me try it. Let me try not to do it and see can it work? And I tried it. I was like, okay, I can do it. So now it's something that I know that I don't have to do. You
Right.
know?
Um. Um. It's me asking you, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um. Uh. I think this is a direct question right here that I think we all go through. And so it don't even have to be broken down. It's just a straight up
Okay.
question. Why do you think that some children only get along with their parents when they want something?
Mm. Man, it's as you said. That's something that I guess many of us, and I want to say a lot of us in our generation, because I speak to many people, and it's like I think children feel like, okay, when they are getting along with you and giving you time that they normally wouldn't if they didn't want anything from you. I think in
Right.
their mind, that's them giving to you so that they can feel comfortable when you get to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like now,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm listening to you. I'm talking to you. I'm calling you. You know, I'm spending time with you. But ultimately, you're doing it because there's something you want out of it immediately. You know what I mean? It's not something that like, okay, I don't need nothing, mom, pops, but I just want to spend some time with you. You know what I mean? I want to
Yeah.
show you that, I love you regardless, you know? And I really don't really know the answer per se because I can't phantom how they mind work. You know what I'm saying? I I I just, I can only speculate that they feel as though, as parents, you know, our responsibility is make sure they're good. And as children,
Hmm.
you know, as long as they, reach out to us and show us that, they care about us when they want something, that should be enough for us. You know what I mean? So that's how I see that question. What's your take on
Um, the kids now are so different, man. They so different. If most of the time, if they not asking you for nothing, they setting you up to ask for something. So they might ask you 2 or 3 days ahead of time. How you doing? I'm just calling or texting to see how you doing. That's all. And then 2 days later they hit you with the you got this. Then you know what I mean. So it's a certain kind of kids that do that because it is kids out here that they get along with their parents and don't ask for nothing. They go get it theyself. Um, but then you got the ones that's young and young minded, not just young but young minded,
it?
and they just figure that they don't have the time, you know, to like you said, they don't got the time. How you doing? Or uh, let's go out to eat. Um, can I come over and talk, or come over and talk, or they don't really don't got time for that. You know what I mean? It's like they getting straight to the point that we cool long as you doing something for me. But you know what they say. If you wanna check somebody's temperature, just tell them no. Tell them.
Yeah.
Just tell your kids no. You will see where you stand at. Tell them no. But yeah, but I just think I just think it's up to the child. But I will say I believe that 80% of kids they get along with you when they want something, and that's high. I say 80%, 8 out of 10 from my experiences anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree. So I think it's up to us as the parents to utilize that time wisely when they want something for us to take our time to implant whatever it is that we want to instill in them because they already got an agenda when they, like you say, they may call you 3 days ahead of time and start
Yep,
priming you for what they want. You
that's what my
know,
daughter do.
yeah. So we get the chance to like, okay, well, little things that we want to prime them about. be on them about. You know what I mean? Yeah, how
Mm.
what's going on with your new boyfriend? This, that, and the other. You know what I mean? Why I haven't met this guy? Why you keep him a secret? That type of stuff.
Yep, yep.
And that family, family just ain't about giving. Family is about reciprocating. Family about
Most
you
definitely.
also you just don't receive all the time. Sometimes you got to give too. So what do I would like for you to call me and invite me out to breakfast or something. You know what I mean? Come over one day and say, Dad, I'm just gonna cook you dinner. You know what I mean? Or cook some
Yep,
dinner and bring me a plate. Some stuff like
yep,
that.
yep.
Yeah. So,
My daughter did that one time.
yeah, so that's how I look at it. So we as the parents got to still take that position of guidance and leadership when they get to that. Because me, I like I don't like to give my money if I can't give my advice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, we all know that, you Mr. F Love, you know what I mean, based on many experiences that you've been through on your own and many experiences that you witnessed with other people within your immediate circle and people, excuse me, around you. So, my question to you is what is the difference between being loved versus being understood?
Um, I was thinking about this one earlier. I think that you could love somebody, but you don't understand them. I'll break it down for the people that's listening. I could love you, but I can't understand what you've been through. You might have grew up with an abusive father or alcoholic mother or one parent household, and I had a two parent household. Maybe I had working parents. Maybe you was molested. Maybe you had family members that dogs you. So I don't understand you, but I love you. Now, when you flip that and you say you understand somebody, I understand you. You know what I mean? Then if you understand somebody, I think it make the love more easier, to come by. But I think you can love somebody and not understand them. But I'm just saying, I think if you understand somebody, then it's easier for you to love somebody you understand more, better, more patternable than loving somebody that you don't understand. So that's what I'm saying. That's the difference of it is I could love somebody, but I might can't understand their ways and actions or their character, but maybe they got a fat ass. Maybe they got a big bank account. Maybe they got a good job. Maybe they got a car. Maybe they got a house. So I love you for that. You know what I mean? But understanding you is something different. Then the flip side of that is okay. I understand what you've been through. I understand you grew up in a in a torturous um you had a torturous
Abusive
childhood.
household.
Abusive. I understand you had abusive childhood. I understand that you was abused by your father, or I understand that you had it your family was poor, or I understand it was eight of y'all in one bedroom. I understand that. That's why I love you. You know what I mean? So The difference is you can understand somebody, and then that will help you to love them. But then the difference is you could also love somebody, but not understand them because you didn't you haven't been through the same thing they've been through, or you haven't grew up the same way they grew up. You know what I mean? So that's the difference of that to me. Um I understand you. It helps me love you because I understand you. I love you, but I don't understand what make you act like that, or I don't understand what you've been through because I haven't been through it. What you think about that?
I think you hitting on something with that because I think an example, you know, when my wife was going through menopause. Before I
Hmm.
read up on it, I couldn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
because I didn't understand it, because I didn't deal with it, I didn't have the empathy of what she was dealing with because I had no idea. You know what I mean? I didn't know what it did. I didn't know that your body gets so hot you feel like you know pouring
Hot
cold water
flashes.
all over you, or you get mood swings. You know what I mean? Like you just just you may feel happy one minute and then the next minute you feel angry. You know what I mean? Or sad. You know. So I didn't know that. So it even though I loved her, I love her. I couldn't relate to what she was dealing with, so
Hmm.
it caused me to like, hey, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Why are you acting like that? But doing a little research helped me to, okay, some of this is out of her control. So I tried to be
Hmm.
empathetic, you know, and I think empathy is like a little more than understanding because it's like I'm trying to put myself in your place. I'm trying to say, okay, it's certain things that I might have went through that at the time was out of my control. You know what I mean? Like when I
Hmm.
was going through my hustling stage. You know what I'm saying? I I had control, but I didn't have control. You know what I'm saying? Like I was so used to doing it to where it wasn't easy to just walk away. So I equated to that, and sometimes like times where I got like, when I got left back, you know what I'm saying? And the whole, you know, feeling of being left back, feeling like, you know, depressed and angry and all these different emotions that I wasn't able to control at the time. So
Hmm.
I equate with that to help me increase my understanding of what she was going through as a woman. And I think, a lot of us as men, we deal with that with women and we just like, man, you just a mean woman. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us say, just mad black women. You know what I mean? But it's not all that. Some of it, yeah, but some of it is, what they're going through with their bodies because women go through things with their bodies, even though we go through things with our bodies as well. But I think
Hmm.
women bodies it becomes a little more extreme. Like when we get
Hmm.
40, our bodies change. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't be able, like you get little pains. I remember my man was telling me that for the job. Like, when you get 40, you're gonna start getting these little pains, these little aches, then you don't even know where they come from. And we get those. And I didn't get those prior to 40. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
things in our 30s and our 20s that we was able to do in our you know, 40s it started changing. 50s, so we do get the changes in our bodies. Our bodies can only take but so much. Where we used to be able to, hang out all night, drinking, doing whatever we doing, and go right to work. You know what I'm saying? Can't what if we tried that now? Body wouldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? Body ain't built like that. So I think that's what it's necessary for us to do, to try to find something in our life that we can kind of apply to another person's life that can help us get a better comprehension, or a better, as you said, understanding or empathy towards the person. I think that's something we
Mm,
can do.
mm.
And that's our time, brother. That's our time.
Oh, okay. We be just flowing, man.
Hmm.
I said we be just flowing, be just dropping knowledge.
Yeah, yeah. We 40 minutes. We right hour and 40 minutes. Thank you all, for taking the time to spend with us. As I said in the early part of the show, we know you could have been doing anything, been anywhere, listening to anybody, but we are thankful and grateful that you took the time to spend with us. You know, so
Mm.
to next week, we leave you with love, peace, and unity.
Mm-hmm. Yep.